Assalamualaikum to Dr. Hanis. My name is Nurul Ain binti Rubain, number matric DN230014. Today I will present our project on Sansuria Kojora Business Park, which is located in Puncak Alam, Selangor. This project is a sustainable industrial development that combines economic growth with environmental responsibility. For a large-scale development like this, project financing is very important to ensure that sufficient capital is available throughout the project lifecycle. Therefore, this study focuses on the project financing requirements, funding source, finding financing structure, and overall financial feasibility while considering its environmental, social, and economic contributions. So Sansuria Kejora Business Park is developed by Sansuria Berhad as a has a modern industrial development that provides space for manufacturing, warehouse, logistics, and business operation. The project is strategically located near major highways Port Klang and Kuala Lumpur International Airport, which offers excellent accessibility for business and investors. So in addition, the project incorporates several sustainable features such as solar panel ready roof structures, rainwater harvesting system, energy efficient designs, and EV charging readiness. These features help reduce operating costs while supporting environmentally responsible industrial development. So next, this project aims to achieve environmental, social, and economic goals. From an environmental perspective, the project promotes green building practice and reduce resource consumption through energy efficient technologies. Socially, the development is expected to create employment opportunities and support local business within the surrounding area. Economically, the project aims to generate attractive returns for investors while strengthening industrial activities in Selangor. Overall, the project integrates sustainability with sound financial planning to achieve long-term growth and positive impacts on society.
As you can see from the breakdown on the screen, our total development cost stands at 365 million ringgit, which represent 91.25% of our gross development value of 400 million ringgit. This financial structure yields an estimated net profit of 35 million ringgit, which a healthy profit margin of 8.75%. Our two largest cost drivers are building works at 145 millions and infrastructure works at 92 million ringgit. The infrastructure cost is relatively high because of its involved massive earthwork. Other costs like land cost account for 14.5%, while we allocated 7.7% for finance costs and contingency to shield the project against unexpected material price inflation. Next, for project scope and unit specification, the benchmark of Sunsuria Kejora is its 4-in-1 functionality concept, where each unit is designed to simultaneously serve as a warehouse, showroom, corporate office, and production hub. We offer three types of semi-D layout. Type A and Type B feature land size of 70 times 150 and 70 times 165. Type C offers a land size of 70 times 190. From an engineering standpoint, our specification meet heavy industrial benchmark. Next, let's look at our 10-year cash flow projection, which is split into three clear phases. Okay, for first year 1 and year 2 is the high capex phase. Cash flow here is negative because we are front loading capital for massive earthwork, moving 3.3 million cubic meters of soil. No revenue is generated yet. Break even phase, years 3 to 5. Construction finish and cash start rolling in from early unit sales and leasing. The project will officially break even by the end of year 5. And lastly, years 6 to 10 is the profitability phase. We enjoy steady recurring rental income, and high asset appreciation. Maintenance costs stay very low because we build passive green design right from the start.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Maisara binti Muhammad Syam and my metric number is CN230498. Next, I will present the financing option and sources for the proposed industrial semi-D development. The project has a gross development value or GDV of 400 million and a total development cost of 365 million to ensure sufficient funding throughout the project life cycle. A diversified financing structure is proposed. The financing plan combines equity financing, debt financing, green bonds, government grants and subsidies, as well as a public-private partnership. This approach helps reduce financial risk, improve financial flexibility, and support the project's sustainability. Financing source is equity financing, which contributes approximately 40% of the total development cost, equivalent to 146 million. This capital is obtained from the developer's retained earnings, private investor, strategic business partners, and institutional investment funds. The main advantage of the equity financing is that it does not require fixed repayments during the development stage, reducing pressure on project cash flow. However, investors are entitled to a share of the profits and may participate in major decisions. The second source is debt financing, which contributes approximately 60% of the total development cost or 290 million. Commercial loans from banks and financial institutions will be used to finance land acquisition, infrastructure works, building construction and utility installation. Debt financing allows the developer to obtain large amounts of capital while maintaining ownership control. However, it also creates repayment obligation and interest costs that increase financial. In addition to equity and debt financing, the project also considers several sustainable financing options. Firstly, green bonds can be used to finance environmental friendly components such as solar photovoltaic system, energy efficient building features, rainwater harvesting system, sustainable drainage infrastructure, and green landscaping. Green bonds attract ESG focused investors and strengthen the project's sustainability profile. Secondly, the project may benefit from the Green Technology Financing Scheme, or we call it GTFS 4.0. This government initiative provides financial support for green technologies, helping to reduce the cost of implementing sustainable features while improving project profitability. And lastly, public-private partnership, or we call it PPP, may be adopted for infrastructure developments such as roads, drainage system, utility service, and environmental facilities. Through PPP arrangement, costs and risks are shared between the government and private sector, improving project efficiency and reducing the financial burden on the developer. Overall, the combination of this financing source creates a balanced and sustainable financing strategy that support the long-term success of the project.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Afirul Hanif bin Muhammad Afendi, metric number CN240339. For this section, I will explain the financial feasibility and risk assessment of the proposed Sun Surya Kejora Business Park project. The purpose of this analysis is to determine whether for the project is financially viable and capable of generating sustainable returns while managing potential financial risk. The financial performance of the project is evaluated by comparing the expected revenue with the total development cost. The project has a gross development value or GDV of 400 million ringgit, while the total development cost is estimated at 365 million ringgit. This results in an estimated net profile of 35 million ringgit. To measure profitability, we calculate the return of investment or ROI. The ROI is 9.59% which means that for every 100 ringgit invest in the project, approximately 9.59 ringgit is generated as profit. This indicates that the project is economically feasible and capable of producing positive returns. In addition, the return of equity or ROE is approximately 24%. This shows that investors who contribute equity capital can obtain attractive returns from the project. Next is the break-even analysis. Break-even analysis determines the point at which total revenue equals total project cost. For this project, the break-even point occurs when the cumulative revenue reaches 365 million ringgit, which is equivalent to the total development cost. Based on the calculation, the project needs to achieve approximately 91.25% of its total GDV before generating profit. The development consists of approximately 140 industrial units and around 128 units must be sold for the project to reach break-even. According to the cash flow projection, this is expected to occur between year 3 and year 4 when sales revenue begins to exceed project expenditures. To further project the project, a 16 million ringgit contingency fund and 15 million ringgit financing reserve have been allocated to manage unexpected costs and temporary revenue shortfalls. Although the project is financially feasible, several risks must be considered. First, market demand risk. Demand for industrial properties depends on economic growth and business activities. If market demand decreases, unit sales may slow down, which could affect project cash flow and profitability. Second, construction cost risk. Construction costs may increase due to inflation, labor shortage, rising material price, or supply chain disruption. Since infrastructure and building works account for the largest portion of project expenditure, cost overruns could significantly reduce profitability. Third, financing and interest rate risk. The project relies on external financing to support development activities. If interest rates increase, borrowing costs will also increase, which may reduce overall profitability. Fourth is regulatory risk. Delays in obtaining planning approval, environment permits, or utility connection may delay project completion and revenue generation. Fifth is cash flow risk. During the early stage of development, large expenditures occur before significant sales revenue is received. This may create temporary cash flow shortage and affect the ability to pay contractors and service loan. To minimize market demand risk, the developer can conduct market research, implement phased development, and strengthen marketing efforts to attract investors and industrial operators. Second, to manage construction cost risk, the project includes a contingency fund and adopts fixed price contracts, early procurement strategies, and continuous cost monitoring. Third, the financing and interest rate risk can be reduced by securing fixed interest financing, maintaining sufficient cash reserve, and managing the debt to equity ratio effectively. To minimize regulatory risk, the developer must maintain close communication with authorities and ensure compliance with all regulatory requirements. And last, to mitigate the cash flow risk, the developer should maintain sufficient working capital, secure strong pre-sales commitment, and implement effective cash flow management practice. In conclusion, the Sansuria Kejora Business Park project is financially feasible and capable of generating attractive return.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Syahmi Syabuddin. For this part, I will explain section 5.0, which is the financial structure and cash flow model for the Sansuria Kejora Business Park project. The total development of cost this project is 365 million ringgit Malaysia. Based on the proposed capital stack, the project is financed using 4 main source of fund. The largest portion come to debt of commercial loan, which contribute 50%, equivalent to 182.5 million. The second largest source is equity, which contribute 40% or 146 million ringgit Malaysia. The remaining 10% come for green funding source. This include 5% from government grant or GTFS 4.0 and another 5% from green bond or CSR fund. Both source contribute 18.25 million each. Overall, this financial structure is balanced because does not depend on only one source of funding. It's combined developer equity, loan financing, and green funding support. This help reduce financial risk while supporting the sustainability feature of the project, such as a solar-ready roof, rainwater harvesting, energy efficiency design, and green industry. For this slide, I will explain the cash flow projection from year 1 to year 5. Based on the table on the chart, the project record negative cash flow in year 1 and year 2. The net cash flow is a negative 99.2 million, while in the year 2 is a negative 37.1 million. This happens because the early stage is a project require high construction and development expenditure. However, the project start to recover in year 3 and year 4. In year 3, the net cash flow becomes positive in 26.6 million, and year 4 remain the positive at 23.6 million. This is because sales revenue increased during the peak sale period. In year 5, the net cash flow becomes negative again at 13.7 million. This is due to lower sales revenue, while the project still need to continue debt repayment and operating costs. Overall, the cash flow trend show the project needs strong initial funding during the construction stage. However, it is available to recover during the peak sales period. For last slide, I will explain the debt servicing and financial viability of the project using the debt service coverage ratio or DSCR. DSCR is used to measure whether the project has enough available cash to cover its debt payment. In general, a DSCR above 1.5 is considered safe for lender. For the table, the project show the strong debt repayment capacity from year 2 and year 4. Year 2 to year 4. In year 2, the DSCR is 4.53. In year 3 is 3.83, and the year 4 is a 2.64. This value above safe level, which means the project is a comfortability and cover the debt repayment during the peak sales period. However, year 5, the DSCR drop the to 0.84 because sales revenue decrease while debt repayment continue. In year 6, the DSCR become negative because there are no major new sales. The debt payment still need to make. Therefore, the several mitigation are recommended. The developer can negotiate the grace period, refinance the loan to extend the repayment period, retain some unit for rental income, and they use contingency and finance reserve to support temporary cash flow shortfall. In conclusions, so the project is financial is very viable during the peak sales period, but the proper debt management is a need after year 5 to maintain long-term financial stability. That's it for me. Thank you.
So, in conclusion, Sansuria Kejora Business Park is a financially viable and sustainable industrial development project. The project has a gross development value or GDV of 400 million with a total development cost of 365 million. This results in an estimate profit of 35 million. The project also achieved an ROI of 9.59% and a return on equity of approximately 24%, which indicates attractive returns for investors. In terms of financing, the project adopts a balanced funding structure consisting of 40% equity financing, 50% debt financing, and 10% green financing through GTFS 4.0 and green bonds. This financing mix helps reduce financial risk while ensuring sufficient capital for project development. From a sustainability perspective, the project incorporates several green features such as solar-ready roof structures, rainwater harvesting system, energy efficient building design, and EV charging readiness. These initiatives support Malaysia's green development agenda, create employment opportunities, and enhance the project attractiveness to investors. So overall, the Sansuria Kejora Business Park demonstrate strong financial performance, a well-planned financing strategy, and long-term sustainability potential.